my sweater on the board.
Single
I'll
team.
leave your bag under the stairs.
No.
Don't go back to our old place. It's probably locked up anyway. I bet it still looks the same as when I ran away that day.
Slovenia.
Doesn't matter anymore.
And we are back. Breaking news, straight from the Shoot For It podcast. We got some blockbuster things to talk about, specifically Luka Doncic for one, Anthony Davis. Gabe, please make this make sense for me.
Oh my God. Bro, I don't know what is going on. This is one of the craziest trades I've ever seen personally.
Out of left
Luka
field.
Doncic traded to the Los Angeles Lakers to team up with the King, LeBron James himself. Anthony Davis sent to Dallas. There was also Max Christie, 2029 first round pick, sent to Dallas to acquire Luka. And there's some pick swaps with the Utah Jazz as well. The Jazz might also be potentially in another trade with the Lakers coming up very soon before the trade deadline on February 6th, just 4 days from now. Man, I don't know what to think. I mean, Lakers also acquired Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris. Uh, Two guys that are
Those are more salary dump things, right?
salary dumps. They're kind of just, role players, small forwards. Markieff Morris hasn't really gotten any minutes as of recently. So he's just a veteran. They're just dropping off that contract over to the Lakers. Oh my God, man. I mean, there's just so much going through my mind right now with this trade.
I have a
I
question,
don't
Gabe. While we unpack this, just the first initial question from me is this just doesn't make sense to me as a Maverick unless Luka's just unbelievably injured. Because why
right.
would you trade away your 25-year-old superstar, top three
MVP caliber guy.
MVP caliber guy for freaking Anthony Davis? Like, what's wrong with them?
I mean, Anthony Davis is like a 9 or 10 time All-Star. He's been an All NBA defender handful of times as well. He is a good shot blocker, rim runner, rebounder. Everyone knows this, but trading your 25-year-old MVP caliber guy after he takes you to the finals, carries you. He had a 70-point game last season. I mean, I don't know what the severity of this calf injury is that he's been nursing. As the start of the season has been unfolding, he's missed a lot of games. They haven't really disclosed too much information about how bad this calf injury really is. He's a guy who's been known to be banged up and play through injury. That's what the story of the season last year when they got to the finals. He had multiple injuries. I don't know if you remember, Juho, like every single game, Luka's like below his knee, it would start bleeding through his compression gear every single game. Do you remember that?
No, I don't actually. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and like apparently he was on some like pain medications to help him deal with some of the things he was going through. But he was still playing like an MVP caliber guy. I don't understand what Dallas is thinking here unless it's really just about money. Like, I mean,
I
I'm so confused.
I've seen some like okay, this is just some conspiracy stuff, but we're gonna get into it because it's our podcast. So F you guys if you don't care. But I've heard some little whispers and rumors. I don't know how true they are, Gabe, but the Lakers are like the biggest team. LeBron's kind of like the biggest star. So I was seeing some things where it's like, oh, like they just want to give, the Lakers the best chance possible, to actually win. And Dallas kind of lowballed, but that's just because the Lakers are such a big team and the NBA kind of wanted Luka to be.
I'm not sure if it's my internet or what. Luka or Jiho kind of cut out here. Technical difficulties. I think Juho's back, but
I'm
yeah,
back. I don't know what just happened.
it's all right. We're on Zoom here. This is an emergency broadcast for this breaking
Yeah.
news. So it's not going to go
Yeah.
totally percent perfect. But anyways, man,
What
I,
what 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 where'd you hear? Where did I stop at? Sorry.
I'm not even sure, man. But
I was talking about the conspiracy theory that I was going
no
about where
conspiracy theory.
like the Lakers are such a big market team. LeBron's the biggest face. So like
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I heard some things where it's like, oh, like the NBA, like, higher ups were pulling some strings to make sure the Lakers are still viable. And
No, I mean,
once,
I don't buy into that. I
yeah,
mean, at the end of the day, like this is a business, and these two franchises, like they operate independently under the branch of the NBA, who is like their overseer in terms of like setting salary caps and things like that, and collective bargaining agreement. They just have to
Right.
function under those guidelines. I really think this is a money thing for Dallas because Luka is going to be eligible for like a super max money deal coming up very shortly, and he's probably going to have to be getting paid like 350 million over like 5 6 years, man. I mean, this is insane kind of money. Um, Mark Cuban, I don't know if he's officially released any statements yet, other than he wasn't necessarily involved in this trade. If you're a guy like Mark Cuban, who's, he's very invested in the franchise, he's a big time sports fan. He loves his team. I believe a year or two ago, they sold a decent chunk of the minority ownership to an investment group located in the Dallas area. And I don't know, man. I think maybe they're just thinking about how much they're going to have to pay Luca to keep him on that roster. And do they think he can get them to the finals again based on the way the team's performing this year? Maybe, they had higher expectations, but he's been injured. Um, he did not, I don't even know, did he make the All-Star game at all? I know
No,
he,
because he was injured.
yeah, because he's missed so many games. Um, that's insane that he didn't make the All-Star. It's 100% due to injury. He would have been an All-Star starter, no questions asked. If he had stayed totally healthy, maybe the Mavs would have even been a top 5 team in the West as of right now if this injury had never gotten to this point. I mean, I really think it has to be a money thing on top of Luca has to be more injured than they are making it out to be.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, this is crazy. I mean, Nico Harrison, the GM for the Mavericks organization, he is getting all kinds of hate online. There was also a press release aired earlier today with Jason Kidd sitting right next to him, and he said that Jason Kidd did not even know about this trade coming to fruition as he was sitting right next to him. I don't understand necessarily why you would get rid of MVP caliber guy. I don't, but I think the acquisition of Anthony Davis is a pretty solid fit for that Mavs team. I think they do want to hang their hat more on defense, and that's why they ended up making this type of move. It's definitely going to have to be
But why Anthony Davis? The dude is also so injury prone. That's the only thing. Like, if Anthony Davis was more healthy, it would make more sense. Like, oh, Luka's really injured right now. We need another, and I think Mavs also their bigs are injured too right now, right? Their
right.
main guys. So maybe they needed some more presence. But AD, the guy is literally like you sneeze on him and his fucking ankle breaks.
Yeah, Mr. Glass, I like to call him. Um, but yeah, it's wild. Like the last year, they made two significant trades to acquire players to build around Luca with Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, and both solid big men forwards, like power forward with Washington and Gafford at center. Derek Lively, he's been a really solid second year player. I mean, he's like a young DeAndre Jordan type of archetype. Now you make a huge trade with an injured Maxi Kleber, who earlier in his career he seemed like he was going to be a premier 3-and-D type of player at 6'10", similar to what Jabari Smith brings to the table for the Houston Rockets. It's crazy though. Like why does LA make this trade first of all? Because they have a serious hole at center. Um, Anthony Davis had publicly had like begged the Lakers to get him a center because a part
Yeah,
of
like
why
Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee type, right?
right. I mean, part of why Anthony Davis gets injured so often is because he has to bang and play physical against these, huge like bruiser type
Bruisers.
centers like the Jokic's and the Sabonises and all that and the Embiids and the Vucevic and the Valanciunases. He has to play physical at center every night. He publicly asked the Lakers to help him out and get him a center. They did not do that. I guess, they were just upset with the way that he was unwilling to waver from saying he is a power forward, not a center. Even in this, a lot of these teams in the modern NBA, they run a smaller lineup and they put, 6'10" guys, 6'9", 6'8" at the center position if they are, defensively versatile. I mean, as much as people hate on Anthony Davis, he is still one of the most diverse defensive players in the whole NBA. possibly of all time. I mean, he can do whatever you need him to do, guard any player, but it takes a toll on your body at the end of the day. So they move Anthony Davis to Dallas, and now they don't really have a center. I think the Lakers aren't done making a move. They're not done making moves before this trade deadline.
Is that why you mentioned the Jazz stuff? Like, because don't they have John Collins and
John
what's his
Collins
name?
and I think the guy who really has been he's been in rumors for being on the trade table this year. Walker Kessler.
Yes,
Walker
Kessler.
Kessler, 7'1", really, really good shot blocker and rebounder, decently efficient in the scoring column. I think that type of player is exactly what the Lakers need now that they have an insane duo. Possibly, I mean, bro, Luca and
And
LeBron,
LeBron is
strictly
insane.
strictly on paper. They're both like, 6'7", 6'8", and they can do anything you could possibly want on the court. They're phenomenal passers. I mean, dude, if you get them a solid center that can just rim run, block shots, Jackson Davis, who's on that bench right now in LA, I don't think he's that guy. I mean, he can, plug some holes every now and then. Pause, but but like Walker Kessler, who's on the rise still right now, I think he's the guy that the Lakers are really looking at. What kind of trade could they make to, acquire a guy like that? I'm thinking maybe they don't even hold on to Maxi Kleber at all. You're probably going to need to get rid of a guy like what's his name, Rui Hachimura, possibly, and
They can
Marquise
get rid of
Morris.
him.
They're kind of overloaded at that small forward, power forward
Yeah.
spot right now. Um, I don't know. Is that enough to get the trade done? Maybe not. The picks that they just sent to Dallas are now gone. We'll have to see what they can put together. It's probably going to have to be another first round pick, at least one, maybe two. Pick swaps with Utah to get that done. We'll
I
have to
think
see.
Dallas are idiots. Just putting that out there. I think I can't. I just can't justify this. Like you,
I can't.
it's just so dumb. I mean, obviously the Lakers got better. Luca and LeBron. I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe Luca's so injured, right? And like the Mavericks are like, oh, he's toast, and we're just gonna try to get whatever we can for him secretly. But I
I
just
mean,
think this is the stupidest. This is one of the stupidest trades I've ever seen on the Maverick side. Like,
he led the NBA in scoring last year, even while being, banged up, at different portions of the season. He averaged like it was a half assist away or half a rebound away. I don't remember exactly from being a 34 point per game triple double average, man. I
yeah,
mean, even if he comes back next, I don't know if we'll have to see. I think he will be back this
this
season. We will
season,
see
yeah, most likely.
we will see him in a Lakers uniform this season. Um, but even if he does somehow he doesn't come back this season and he gets his fully rested, they figure out how to get a contract with him to commit to the Lakers long term, maximize LeBron's last handful of years in the
Oh yeah,
NBA.
LeBron's staying now.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh,
LeBron's
yeah, for
staying
sure.
now.
For sure.
We got a couple more
Um,
years. Luke is on his team. Are you kidding
I mean,
me?
I cannot wait to see this
Oh,
duo in
so what's the so what's the before while we wrap this up, Gabe, what are the new starting like starting teams for like the starting players for these teams in your in your prediction? Like let's say Luca's healthy.
Okay, so I
What would
guess
the
we can
Lakers lineup and the
Mavs.
Mavericks
Okay,
lineup
so
look
let's
like?
do the Lakers first, right? You have Austin Reeves, who's having a pretty solid year, a little bit of a jump up. They lost Doug Christie or Max Christie, who he was a really solid scoring two guard and decent defender, but they lost him. So now Dalton Connect, I believe he's going to be in the starting lineup consistently. He's still growing as a player and learning the NBA pace and space, but he's had a lot of good hot flashes of burning that thing from the 3 point line. So Reeves, Dalton Connect, Luca at the three, LeBron at the four. The five is the interesting spot right now. Probably
Can you imagine Kessler? Oh my goodness,
If
that's a championship
you
squad.
get Kessler, I mean that's an elite 5-man squad.
Yeah.
That is probably it's the widest team in the NBA, probably also. I don't know if you
Yeah, they
noticed
got that biggest loser energy. They're so wide.
that.
Some chunky boys.
I mean, I said whites, but yeah, there's that too.
Oh, I
Like,
think you said wide.
I mean, I think no one's really talking about this. It's probably the widest Lakers team of all time.
Oh my God, you're right. Wait, Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, Kessler, and
Yeah.
Doncic. The four horsemen around LeBron.
I mean, that's crazy, and like all those guys can really shoot
Wait,
the
that's so funny. The widest Lakers team
ball.
ever.
Widest Lakers team ever. I mean, even if they don't get a Walker Kessler type player, they could get like Jakob Poeltl off the Raptors. They're having a really bad year.
Yeah.
There's a couple other centers like
Vucevic, I know is like always on the block, but he's not a good defender, so I don't know if he'd be
no,
a
and they're
good
not going to be able to
option.
afford him after
Yeah,
having
after
LeBron
Doncic, yeah.
on the same team. Um, so we'll see, man. I mean, the King and the Prince.
Yep.
That's what I'm calling them right now, man. But yeah, so the moving on to the Dallas Mavericks, their starting lineup is probably going to be if they decide to commit to Kyrie Irving long term, he'll be the starting point guard. And then they said Max Christie is Max Christie going to be a starter? Maybe. Clay Thompson those are going to be the two guys at the 2 and 3 spot.
Yep.
Anthony Davis and then probably Daniel Gafford.
Okay. Yeah.
That'll probably be
Dude,
their
that sucks, man.
I mean, that has like a few weaknesses, especially with Clay Thompson being at an advanced age right now.
Dude, that's just old. They're all old. Kyrie,
That'd
Clay,
old too.
Davis. I mean, maybe like a couple years ago that would have been a really good squad, but right now, I mean, with all these young, hungry guys coming up, I mean, I don't know, man. Like if I see Dallas against Houston, for example, I mean, I think we're gonna cook them. I think
Right.
we're gonna cook them. Like Davis against what? Shingun, Gafford. Like, I mean, I feel like Shingun's gonna eat Gafford for breakfast, man.
Right. I mean, like the whole thing is, it's like the reason why the Mavs have been able to, make playoff runs in the past handful of seasons, especially when they had Kyrie and Luka healthy on the court together at the same time. You had to put so much defensive attention on Mr. Doncic. I mean, because
Yeah,
he's an MVP and he's scorching the net every single night. Like we said, he had a 71-point game last season. And so pretty much like you have to send so much defensive attention towards Luka's way. Kyrie would, explode every now and then when they kind of left him off to the side.
yeah,
Because like, you tend to if you're gonna lock down one guy on that Mavs roster the past like couple years, it would have to be Luka. Because like if he gets going, there's no way to stop him. Kyrie's a little bit older, he's a little undersized. He's not the most explosive player.
less efficient. A lot of good ball handling, but he's not gonna get like 50, 60 points anymore. I just
No.
don't see it.
No. So now that you don't have Luca, playing a team like the Thunder or the Rockets or even like the Celtics who have really solid wing defenders, they're going to focus in on Kyrie relatively easily because they all have like upper like what am I trying to say? The larger guards that can switch on to anybody
Right.
essentially. Like with the Celtics with Derek White and Drew Holiday and Brown and Tatum, all those guys, especially White and Holiday are like elite level defenders that can do whatever they want to contain you. With the Rockets having an assortment of wing defenders like Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith. That's going to give a team like the Mavs problems because Kyrie's
Absolutely.
undersized and those guys are way more athletic than Kyrie at this point in his career.
Yeah,
That's not even a debate.
100%.
And then again with the Thunder, they're a very defensive minded team as well. With like Lou Dort and Jalen Williams having big jumps up in the standings in terms of being lockdown defenders. Lou Dort is one of the best in the business. So I don't know. I don't truly understand what the Mavs are thinking right now. They're definitely trying to maximize, the defensive minded style of Jason Kidd. Because like he's not the most creative offensive coach. I mean,
Right.
that's kind of obvious, but like there was times last year in the playoffs where it didn't seem like they were running any kind of sets. They were just running pick and roll with Gafford and Washington and Lively and Luca just threw him the ball and get it out the way.
Yeah,
Like
exactly. A lot of
and
ISO.
a lot of ISO. I mean, they really heavily relied on Luka carrying them.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's just crazy, man. How do
terrible
you
trade.
trade? How do you
In
trade Luka?
conclusion, this sucks for Dallas. I would hate to be a Dallas fan right now. It's like if we traded Şengün for like I don't know, uh maybe
I mean,
like
if we
someone
traded Şengün to get
like a
Anthony
like
Davis,
for like
that would have
Rudy
been a
Gobert
steal.
or something, you know?
And
Maybe like
and
what?
Şengün, yeah, like Şengün isn't even an MVP caliber guy, but I still would have been pissed off if we traded him to get Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Yeah, there
Like,
you go. That's a great way to put it.
Guys, I mean,
yeah,
there's literal protests happening because of this trade. Like,
yeah.
I
I
know
don't know if
that's
y'all
There's
so
saw
protests
this.
crazy.
going on in Dallas right now. I mean,
That's insane.
I
A
don't
couple
think
of my friends are at the airport right now.
oh
Or
my God.
airline center. So they're at a
Yeah.
couple of my friends like are at the American Airlines Center. I saw them on Snap and like there's a bunch of people protesting this, which is nuts. I
I
mean,
mean,
this is
there's
their
some
poster
videos and
boy. This
stuff.
is their guy. Luca was the Mav. You know, he was the next Dirk Nowitzki. Like the guy was supposed to be a Mav forever. Statue in the city. Name a street
Exactly.
after him. You know?
Nick, I sent you that picture that had a quote from Mark Cuban from
Mark
I think like
Cuban,
a season
yeah.
or two ago. And he was saying, here, can you pull it up for me? I don't want to butcher it too much. So he said, if I had to choose between my wife and keeping Luca, catch me at my lawyer's office preparing for a divorce.
Yeah.
And
Insane.
then you let him go in a trade. Like this was 2020, so this was a while ago when he was getting drafted and such. But I don't understand, man. I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, I feel really bad for Dallas Mavericks fans, bro.
I do
Like,
too.
I mean, I don't
I
necessarily
yeah.
think this makes the Lakers a better team either. I mean, on paper, they have two of the biggest stars in the business, but does that mean it's going to translate to wins on the court? I
I
don't
would love to see
necessarily
them
know.
draft Kessler and have the four white horsemen around LeBron. That would be so.
That would be
I would
perfect.
love that.
That would be perfect.
All
Um,
right, guys. Well, that was the breaking news for you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Shoot For It pod. We're going to go over the trade deadline throughout this week as we hear more trades coming out. We're going to cover the MMA 312 Sydney card as well as have a lot of fun games, echo chambers. You guys know the drill. So stay
oh
tuned
yeah.
for that. Thank you guys for listening to us today, and we'll see you very soon.
Don't forget to shoot for
Yes, sir.
it. Shooters always shoot.